Hare Krishna. First, we will chant the bhajan. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Vardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Giri Vardhari Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjana Yashodanandan Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Guru Devaya Jaya Guru Devaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Hitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So we will start with reciting prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Kudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtati Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Let's start. So the topic of today is Canto 9, Chapter 5. First of all, I would like to thank you all. You have given me the chance to speak on Shrimad Bhagwatam, as Shrimad Bhagwatam is Lord's incarnation as Granthavatar, and you all gave me a chance to glorify Lord as Granthavatar. So our topic of today is Canto 9, Chapter 5, Durvasa Muni saved by the prayers of Amrish Maharaj to Sudarshan Chakra. This chapter has 28 verses, and I have divided today's content in 4 parts. Part 1 is the scene setting, in which we will discuss that how the present scene is set. Part 2 is from verse 1 to 11. They are the prayers and glorification of Sudarshan Chakra. Part 3, the theme verse number 12. And part 4 is the glorification of Ambarish Maharaj by Durvasa Muni. So before going directly to this topic, we need to know about the previous chapter, which I called the scene setting, which is about how Amrish Maharaj was offended by Durvasa Muni. Amrish Maharaj is actually a pure devotee, a pure Vaishnava. Maharaj Amrish was a powerful emperor of entire world, but he was too detached from the material wealth that he considered these opulences temporary, as he was known about the fact that attachment to material opulence is actually the cause of fall down into the conditioned life. So he engaged his senses and his mind in the service of Lord, and fulfill his duties as a king, remained detached from opulence. This is called Yukta Vairagya, which is much more difficult from the Vairagya which is followed by mystic sadhus and yogis, as they are completely free from the responsibilities of family and society. Why is it actually difficult to have Yukta Vairagya? Because it is rather a tough task to get away from Maya while being in the Maya. So we can say that Maharaj Amrish was just like a lotus flower which blooms in a muddy puddle but remains untouched by the mud. What to say about the detachment from opulence? Even he had no desire of liberation. So once Amrish Maharaj was worshipping Lord for observing the vow of Dvadashi fasting. When he was just about to break his Ekadashi fast, the great mystic yogi Durvasa Muni came there as a guest. King respectfully received him and offered to eat prasadam at his place. Muni accepted his invitation of taking prasadam feast and went to bathe in river Yamuna. He didn't came back soon, and the auspicious time for breaking the fast was passing by. So king took a few drops of water as a formality of breaking the fast, as taking food before the guest eats is actually considered a sinful action in our scriptures. It is mentioned in Shreemat Bhagwatam only, Canto 5, Chapter 26, that a person who doesn't feed his guest properly but enjoys to eat himself bears punishment in the hell named Kirmi Bhojanam, in which unlimited number of worms and insects continuously bite him. So he wanted both of his duties fulfilled, breaking of fast as well as no eating. But with the mystic power, Muni came to know that he had taken a little water. He became furious. After coming back, he started chastising Amrish Maharaj, and Amrish Maharaj, as a calm and humble devotee, silently tolerated everything. Upon this, even Muni was not at all satisfied, and with his mystic power, he created a demon like fire of death. The king still didn't react, as he was a pure Vaishnava. He was completely dependent on the mercy of Lord. He thought whatever Lord had decided for me will come to me. If Lord wants me to die by reminding his name, his form, I'll leave this body. If Lord wants me to survive, he himself will make some arrangements. This is the mood that Mare Krishna Rakhe Krishna Mare ke. See, this is the level of his devotion and faith in Lord. What happened next? To protect his devotee, Lord released his disc Sudarshan Chakra immediately. Lord always fulfill his words. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Name Bhakt Pranashyati. And he made the arrangement. Sudarshana immediately came and vanquished the demon. And then the Sudarshana Chakra started following Durvasa Muni. Then Durvasa Muni fled from that place to Brahma Loka, to Shiva Loka, all other higher planetary systems. but he could not be protected by anyone anywhere. Finally, he went to Lord Vishnu and surrendered unto him and prayed to pacify Sudarshana. Lord replied that he could not do anything, as he had made an offense against a Vaishnava. Then only that Vaishnava could make some arrangements to pacify Sudarshana. Actually, it is not like Lord cannot pacify Sudarshana, but Lord can pacify Sudarshana, but because Sudarshana is his own instrument, his own weapon. But the thing was, Lord wanted to glorify his devotee. So Lord advised him to return to king and to beg for mercy. Now we will move to part number 2, how Amrish Maharaj prayed before Sudarshana and save Durvasamani. We will go verse by verse, taking some important key points, learning points, and I'll try not to skip any of the words. So, after the suggestion of Lord Vishnu, Muni immediately came to king and fell down in the lotus feet of king. Actually, this is the action of a wise man, that if he realizes that he has committed some offense to someone, especially towards a Vaishnava, within no time, he repents and begs for mercy. And as Muni watched Sudarshana appear to save Ambrish Maharaj, and Durvasa Muni found no place as shelter anywhere, he understood that king is actually a great Vaishnava, and Vaishnava Aprad is not at all bearable for Lord Himself. Just as in the case of Jagai Madai and Nityananda Prabhu, when Jagai Madai became violent towards Nityananda Prabhu, and Lord Chaitanya saw that Nityananda Prabhu's forehead is bleeding, he immediately ran to end the life of Jagai and Madai. Also, Mahaprabhu then instructed that all kinds of sins can be vanished with chanting of Lord's name, with chanting of Mahamantra, but not the offense towards a Vaishnava. Durvasamuni also knew the effect of Vaishnava aparadha. So he bowed down to the king for the mercy and forgiveness. When Durvasa Muni fell down in king's feet, king felt ashamed and compassionate. It is actually the behavior of a pure Vaishnava that he is always humble and meek and never get puffed up at any condition. And what about us, conditioned souls, especially me? We will say in this type of case, no, no, no. Lord has shown mercy upon me. Now you will have to bear the punishment, whatever Lord wants for you, isn't it? So as we, why this happens actually? As we easily get puffed up, even with a little sadhana done by us, and moreover, we feel happy to see others in trouble. But here, see how a Vaishnava react in this kind of situation. When king saw that Muni was attempting to pray before him, he became even more compassionate, and he immediately forgave him and started to chant prayers before Sudarshan Chakra. Because Vaishnava never feels satisfied or puffed up by hearing his own praise. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though he is the incarnation, a combined incarnation of Srimati Radharani and Lord Shri Krishna, when someone glorified him as the Supreme Lord, he just used to put hands on his ears and fled from that place. By this action, he wants to show how a Vaishnava should behave when he is praised. And Vaishnava never feels himself as a topmost devotee of Lord. He feels himself as the servant of Lord and his devotees. Now, from verse number 3 onwards, Sudarshana Stuti recited by Ambrish Maharaj is there. Maharaj Ambrish glorifies Sudarshana by saying, "It is as the source of light and heat in fire. It is the source of light for sun god, for moon god, and the greatest and strongest among weapons, who can chop millions of heads of a bhakta just in a short span of smallest time unit. Sudarshana is also called Achyuta. Achyuta means infallible. As Lord is infallible, as Lord doesn't get distracted from the duty he takes for his pure devotee, whether it is, like to dance like a peacock, to end the anger of Srimati Radharani, or it is the duty of a chariot driver for Arjuna, or to protect Vrindavan Vasis from severe rain by lifting Govardhan on his little finger for 7 continuous days. Similarly, Sudarshana is also infallible. Whatever duty is assigned to it, it will definitely fulfill. As in this case only, he chased Durvasa Muni in all the three lokas wherever Muni ran to rescue. Also, Amrish Maharaj glorifies the chakra by calling it the original vision of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Himself says in Bhagavad Gita 9.10, Maya adhikshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. This material nature is one of my energies and act under my supervision. Then what is this supervision? It is clear from the word adhyakshena. Adhi means supreme. Aksh is also a Sanskrit word having meaning I. As we know, Lord is the cause of all causes, doer of all activities, but he directly doesn't do anything. His different energies and different representatives do all the activities to derive material world. But who supervise all those representative? It is Sudarshan Chakra. It acts like third eye of Lord, just as a drone. Huh? We can take an example from modern world. Whatever will be recorded by drone will be visible to the main user of the drone. Similarly, Sudarshana keeps an eye on everyone, and this is the reason it immediately reaches at the place where some Vaishnava is being hurt by an atheist or even by a puffed up yogi. And if we see the meaning of word Sudarshana itself, it is meant Su plus Darshana. Su means good, Darshana means vision. That means it is an instrument by which Lord see all the minute activities or even the thoughts that appear in someone's mind. So we should even be careful while even thinking bad for some devotee. So Darshana is also all pervading like Lord. It can even read our mind as well. Not only Sudarshana is all pervading, infallible like Lord, but it has all the transcendental qualities that Lord has. As said by Amrish Maharaj in glorification, that just as Lord is equipoised and equibalanced between devotees and non-devotees, similarly, Chakra doesn't discriminate between high, low criminals or demons. Durvasa Muni was a pious and powerful Brahmin, but his act against Ambrish Maharaj was just like a demon. So Chakra reacted as the same way towards Durvasa Muni as it reacted towards demons. Same way it reacted towards Durvasa Muni. In purport of verse number 6, Prabhupada explained that Sudarshana has one another name called Dharma Setu, means the bridge on which dharma or religious principle depends. Prabhupada adds that Sudarshana has thousands of spokes. Each one of the spoke is one of the religious principle, and the chakra doesn't do any partiality between those Brahmins or Asuras who act against Vaishnavas or act against religious principles. Further, in verse number 7, the king glorifies the chakra as the source of light, which has the ability to vanquish the darkness of the material world. The effulgence of chakra cannot be even surpassed. Prabhupada add in the purport a very beautiful point that with the effulgence of that chakra, one can get his eyes full of knowledge and wisdom and can discriminate between superior and inferior. As according to scriptures, Brahmana is the superior and Kshatriya is the inferior. But we can see the real identification of a person from his words, from his actions towards a Vaishnava, towards the common society. What gives us that intelligence, that knowledge? It is only Sudarshan Chakra. As in this instance, Durvasa Muni was accepted as powerful yogi, but he showed that Amrish Maharaj was far more superior than him as a Vaishnava, and he has the qualities of tolerance, meekness, humility. Also written in Bhagavad Gita 6.47, योगिनाम अपि सर्वेषां मद्गतेन अंतरात्मना श्रद्धावान भजते यो माम स मे युक्तो मत. What does it mean? It means among all the yogis, he who abides in me with great faith, worshipping me in transcendental loving service, and always united with me is the greatest of all. So we can decide that position of Amrish Maharaj, though he was a Kshatriya, was higher than Durvasa Muni, who was a Brahmana. Amrish Maharaj, by calling Sudarshan Chakra an indefeatable weapon and the protector of the universe, Amrish Maharaj prays to forgive the poor Brahmana for the well-being of king's dynasty, because Brahman Hatya is considered as the greatest offense in the scriptures. So he prays to favor Brahmana as well as his family. The king even wants to sacrifice all the fruits of pious activities done by him and his family to save Brahman. This is the quality of a Vaishnava. He is par dukh dukhi. Just as Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard about the painful punishments of hellish planets, which I told you 5.26, uh, which jivas are suffering for their sinful actions, he immediately became very much worried about human, and he asked Shukdev Goswami to tell him about the solution, that human, how human can become free from those suffering, though he was also on the death edge in 7 days. But this is the mood of a pure devotee for every jiva, that he is par dukh dukhi. He doesn't care about his own pains and uh, uh, the situations in which he is. He cares for the people. He cares for the common persons. Now let recite verse number 12, which is the key verse. Shri Shuka Uvacha Iti Sanstuvato Ragyo Vishnu Chakram Sudarshanam अशाम्यत सर्वतो विप्रम प्रदहद राजन्यया. Shukdev Goswami spoke, who is actually telling the Bhagavad Katha to Parikshit Maharaj. After hearing the glorification of Lord Vishnu and Sudarshan Chakra, Chakra became peaceful and stopped burning the Muni. So this is because the theme verse. So I am going to announce the theme of today's power of prayer. Just think once, how did furious Sudarshan Chakra, which immediately chopped the head of Sishupala and many others on the order of Lord Vishnu, pacified, became calm just with the power of intense prayer. The supreme weapon of supreme person got impressed by the prayers chanted by king. Ambarish. Prayer is actually that much powerful, but we can understand the prayer power of prayer if we know that what is prayer. Generally, people think that prayer is just a mechanical recitation of some verses or phrases, but the prayer is actually a medium to connect with the Lord. Prayer is our personal conversation with the Lord. Why do we need to converse personally with Him? Let's take a practical example. It is common in India, as we all are Indian here, we can understand it very easily that before marriage, the girl and the boy met each other along with their families, and then they sent in a secluded place to sit alone, to spend some time with each other. Why is it done so? So that the boy and the girl who are going to live together for the whole life come to know each other. This type of private meeting gives them space to develop love and affection for each other. Otherwise, they know many things about each other, like name, place of residence, about qualification of each other, their parents' name and their occupation. Still, they need some private meetings to feel connection and to feel love towards each other. This is same happen with us and the Supreme Person. See, Supreme Person know us um, as all pervading Paramatma in our heart, and we know him from his biodata that his birthplace is Mathura, his Leela Sthali is Vrindavan, his parents are Vasudeva and Devaki, but still we do not feel connected due to the lack of private conversation time. Just think, if we need private time to develop love in material world, then how without private conversation we will be able to connect with the Supreme? The time of that private conversation is called prayer. Simply that time is called prayer. Now the question rises, we pray, but our prayers are not at all effective as we do not have proper mood of offering prayer. We should check our mood behind the prayer. If we are praying because my Guru Maharaj has instructed me to do so, so we are just praying as a matter of duty. See, as a matter of duty, if we are praying, it will give some result, but not in that kind of result which we will do with our heart. Or someone offers a prayer with a challenging spirit that okay, ISKCON devotees say that prayers show miracles. Let me check by offering prayers um, that some miracle happen or not, है ना? So this is not the right mood of the prayer. First of all, motive of prayer should be clear and intense. As I want to cleanse my heart through prayer. I want to be free from the illusion and capturing of Maya, or supreme reason that I want to connect with the Lord. Top of the top, I want to make Lord happy by my personal meeting with Him, just as our own Father. If we sit beside Him without any demand, just to spend good amount of time with Him, He becomes happy. Similarly, Lord becomes happy when we spare time for Him from our personal material activities. And what should be our mood? It should not be challenging or duty bound. We should be uh, uh, in the mood of with our heart. What It should be not challenging. We should offer our prayers with complete helpless mood, with full humility, as Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who is the exalted devotee and offered his life and soul to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is his mood of prayer? আমার জীবন সদা পাপরত নাহি কো পুণ্য রতে Ganesha. Or another prayer, Mama Nivedana Shuno Vishaya Durjana Sada Kamarata Kichu Nahi Mora Guna. These are my favorite prayers, which show we should consider ourselves devoid of any qualification. Hare Krishna, please mute yourself. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, please check whose mic is on.
You mute them, Mataji. You mute them.
Yes,
You are a host, no? You
done.
can mute. Yeah. You only mute everybody.
I have done it. So we were talking about the prayers of Bhakti Vinod Thakur. These two are my favorite prayers, which show we should consider ourselves devoid of any qualification until and unless we will be selfless, considering ourselves negligible, insignificant. That emotion which is needed for an intense prayer cannot appear. As in the case of Draupadi, when she was being disrobed, when she lost all the hopes from her husbands, from her great grandfather Bhishma Dev, she became completely helpless and thought she has left with only one hope, hope of Lord Shri Krishna. She cried out loudly his name, Govinda, Govinda, and Lord immediately came to help her. Immediately. In which form? In the form of sari, a piece of cloth. We know all, है ना? So this was that helpless mood was there behind her prayer. Similarly, in Gajendra, the elephant story, when he felt that neither his power and position nor his family and physical strength will let him free from crocodiles capturing, he glorified Lord and offered a lotus, and Lord didn't even wait for Garuda to come. He immediately ran towards that place, Trikuta mountain, and immediately cut the head of the crocodile and freed him from crocodile. Not only prayers towards Lord, but we can offer prayers unto the lotus feet of our spiritual master, our gurus, as Guru is the representative of Lord, transfers our prayers unto the lotus feet of Lord, and Lord gives him his power to Gurus. Now we are going to take an incident of Prabhupada and one of his devotee called Purnamasi Devi Dasi Mataji. Maybe you have already heard this. Mataji was on the mission of spreading Krishna consciousness in Russia. Many devotees along with her kept into the jail, and she started to preach Bhagavad Gita in jail. And her preaching was so powerful and effective that she converted the minds of prisoners and made many devotees there. Why she was so influential? Because her prayers towards Srila Prabhupada were intense. By seeing this, supervisor became frustrated and appointed a witch for her. The witch spelled black magic on her. Slowly and gradually, she became unable to preach. Then she became unable to chant or recite prayers. She intensely prayed one day to Prabhupada that I am not able to chant. Even I am not able to recite prayers. So make my consciousness free from this witch. I want to serve you. I want to serve Lord by spreading his message. Immediately the witch got back from her contract and denied to come again. When the supervisor asked, she said, an old man in saintly robe with an effulgent body is standing behind that Mataji and gazing me in anger as he will burn me in fury. One may think here that how Prabhupada became so powerful. He is, after all, a simple common man. Again, he got this power just by offering prayers. While he was in Vrindavan, residing in Radha Damodar temple, and he was struggling to fulfill the order of his spiritual master to spread the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagwatam in Western countries. He, while brooming and moping in the temple, used to cry and offered his prayer to open the door for him so that he may engage himself in his guru's order. See the mood of his prayer, crying not for his own liberation, but for fulfilling his guru's word, for fulfilling his guru's order. And also when he went in Western countries, finding no way there, he cried and prayed, "Oh my Lord, I don't know why you have brought me here. I am just a puppet in your hands. Puppet in your hands. I will dance like a puppet as you will instruct me." Understanding my point, this should be the mood of prayer, being surrendered, meek, humble, and Lord will hear our prayers. This is the power of prayer, and we can feel that power of prayer if our mood will be that intense as I have given you those examples. But it will take time because we are just neophytes. It will take time, but it will happen. Gradually it will happen. So let's move further in the story of Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. Now Muni was completely safe and satisfied from the king. He praised the qualities of king. Now part 4 is starting here. He praised the qualities of king and he offered the king for benediction and expressed that he has felt the real greatness of a pure devotee. Although the Muni committed offense, but still the king prayed for him. I think meeting is going to be end. Please join again. Just 10 minutes are there to finish the topic. So the real greatness of a devotee, although Muni committed offense, but still king prayed for him. Similar instance we can see in the case of Nityananda Prabhu, which I told you before. When his head was bleeding, as Jagai Madai hurt him, Mahaprabhu came furiously